Sports. Well, it's pretty much the same again this year. It's all sports. Everything was just, the first, half an hour, was it? Was just, Madden this, FIFA that.
NHL, UFC.
It was just...
golf.
Yeah. This time, they just seem to have this fetish for focusing on feel the game, the emotion of the sport, the battlefield gets destroyed by your football boots.
And the thing that's quite amusing is that's all fine and well if you're at a football match. When you're actually with a controller in your bedroom playing the game, you're not like, oh, did he score? Oh, is he going to score? No, you're like, I'm going to need to press X now and pass it to that player, and then maybe that person's going to press square and try slide tackle me, and then I'll punt it in that keeper's face and try and score an entertaining goal that I can put on YouTube.
Yeah, you can just tell that they've really got no ideas with the sports games because... I mean, what can you do? You're on FIFA 15. What are you going to do?
What can you do? And basically that led them to just talking about the corporate stuff of, there's going to be this kind of, we're going to go on this engine, and we've increased what the crowd can do. The crowd's a bit more simulatory. There's a bit more of an atmosphere. But we're like, well, yeah, okay. But that was already there.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all very minor things, and when you actually concentrate on the gameplay itself, you're not going to be like, oh, look what the crowd's doing. Look what the crowd's doing. It's simply just kind of little tiny tweaks. Yeah. And in a way, that's fine. But you go into these things to expect something big.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I was actually impressed by in the actual sports games was PGA Tour. And the reason I was impressed is because every other PGA Tour game has literally been a simulation, basically, of 20 courses. Whereas this time they've gone for, we're going to have the simulation, but we're also going to take on games like Everybody's Golf or...
we're just going to have crazy golf.
We're going to have crazy golf. We're going to have really big environments. We're going to have things where you have to play golf in strange ways. You have to do this, that, and the other. And I'm like, finally! You are doing something different. You're not just doing the core game and doing minor little tweaks all the time. I've been longing for FIFA to do FIFA Street and FIFA and a manager game in one, which I know sounds a bit bonkers from a corporate point of view. They're not going to make money because you can just buy one game. But that's
package.
What people do anyway. If you sell that game for £100, people will buy it because people buy Football Manager and they buy FIFA Street and they buy this, that, and the other, and they play it so much. And if you offered a £100 game which had absolutely everything in it, so you had the complete manager package that they do in the manager games that they do. You had the entire FIFA games, including FIFA Street, including FIFA 14, including FIFA World Cup, put them all in one thing, and then said, here's an entire football game with all season passes included, play it.
Yeah.
That would sell, it would sell exactly the same as what any other one does, but it would actually, you probably have people that might just buy FIFA that might decide, I'll buy FIFA and I'll buy the season pass and it costs me £65 if you get it on launch, that is. Why not pay an extra 35 and I get an extra 2-3 games out of it?
Exactly. So with there wasn't that much gameplay shown, to be honest. That's the main problem with this conference, because they showed a few things for the sports games. They showed kind of some brief UFC gameplay, but overall, the EA conference was really just more talk and much less kind of in the action. You look at stuff like Mass Effect. I mean, that's huge, right? There was nothing shown on it.
Literally just the fact that there is going to be another Mass Effect game. It's in development, and that's as far as we're going to go with it.
Yeah, no title, no gameplay, it did not. It had no point, really. It just had no point. And this follows with other stuff as well. They showed a little bit of Dragon Age Inquisition, but there was just like the trailer was just pointless. It did not increase my interest in the game whatsoever. It was just all talk and no gameplay. Really.
The actual thing is, when they actually got to showing Dragon Age gameplay, you were bored because you'd looked at the trailer and thought, but these two don't seem to actually
go together,
be the same game. I looked at the trailer and I was like, okay, this looks very movie-like. Okay, but I was kind of like, well, you've not grabbed my attention or anything. Whereas when it actually got to the gameplay, I looked at it and thought, this isn't half bad actually, but you've kind of already given me negative feelings because the trailer seemed so out of touch with the rest of the gameplay that I thought, well, if you're going to kind of do that, then maybe you're hiding other stuff that I might not want to see behind that you haven't at all shown that I might dislike. But if you can't show the full thing, then wait.
Exactly. Because the only thing that they actually... Because everything, right? They never showed any of the mechanics of the game. They didn't show much gameplay. It was literally a guy just stood there talking about it. You didn't get this sense of excitement or like, oh, I want this game right now. Everything was just kind of early stages, really. Like, look at something like Dawngate. That's just EA's take on the MOBA market. And they really did not talk about it at all very much. Like, they spent a few minutes, alright, saying, oh yes, this is going to be a MOBA. They didn't even explain what a MOBA is to people that don't know. Yes, there are people that don't know, believe it or not. Especially console gamers who can't play MOBAs because there aren't any on the consoles.
Well, very, very few. There's recently been a couple on the PS4, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and they really didn't explain, one, what makes it different, two, how they're going to solve the biggest problem, which is the accessibility, and three, how they're going to compete with stuff like Infinite Crisis, which has all the DC characters, right? It's got proper branding and established players like Dota 2, which is for the hardcore fans, and League of Legends, which is the most played game right now. So it's really just pointless for them to show it because
the thing they went on about was, oh well, we're all big MOBA players and we've all been on teams before, so this is going to be a massive game. It's going to be the biggest one you've ever seen. I thought, yes, this is all talk. Show you can
tell me how it's going to actually be different.
You're talking the talk. Show us you can walk the walk.
Exactly. That's the thing.
And the things that did impress us the most were Battlefield Hardline.
Because they actually showed a lot of stuff.
Because they showed 8 minutes of full gameplay. They explained everything they were going for. They explained what the modes were going to be.
They announced an open beta.
Immediately as well. They had everything planned. Yeah. They showed They showed cinematics. They showed that the game...
They showed us a full match kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, they showed that there was going to be something different in the multiplayer. The fact that it was not just kind of Team TDM, it was an actual active kind of mission within multiplayer, which is very good.
They acknowledged what Battlefield fans want, which is teamwork and, grand-scale multiplayer, destruction, vehicles, etc. So they showed that even though they're doing something different, they know fine well what the core fans want from the game.
The other thing to mention is the new IP that Criterion are making, which looked like an overall kind of vehicle sim, which seemed to have a lot of potential, but they didn't really show as much as we want. So literally, that's the only information that we've got at the moment.
Yeah, it could be very interesting because it's a first-person thing, and yeah, Criterion seem to want to do that sort of stuff. Like Burnout Paradise, you get the sense that it's not really about the cars; it's more about the kind of the sense of speed. So I think that could be a very interesting IP if they do it properly, have the vehicles. It could kind of be the next MotorStorm, but a lot better.
So overall, to summarise the conference, there was a lot of teasing games, but there wasn't much of actual games.
Yeah, I mean, I was really looking forward to Mirror's Edge, thinking, oh yes, they're going to have something prepared. It's been so long now, they should really have something. And everything they showed was just early prototype. And yeah, it was good that they knew what it was about, but they really just might as well have not shown anything in a way, because I was really expecting something big.
They all seemed, basically, overall, everything seemed to either be corporate babble, too teasing, or just overall pointless fillers because they needed to fill an hour and a half, and the only way they could do it was to show commitment to the fans and do that kind of talk, and then to show gameplay trailers but not actually show any of the gameplay itself.